Yeah, thanks a lot, Paul. Local time here, by the way, is 5:10, which is why the arena at the moment is nowhere near full. And this is where these two heavyweights are in the game just now. But I think this is an important fight, especially for Akinwande, who I think can get to the winner of Holyfield and Ruiz next month then.
Well, it is. It's a very good matchup. I mean, the same for McCall. You know, he wants to get himself back there. He's got power. He's got that superb chin. And, he could be a factor as well. Akinwande, he's been unlucky, hepatitis, and, put him out of the game. But he's back. He's tall, rangy, and he's very difficult to beat.
Well, he came into the ring just like he did at Wembley that night when he lost to Frank Bruno, Oliver McCall, with that strange kind of walk that he does with his arms out wide, and he always looks so emotional. He says his problems are behind him now: drugs, alcohol, emotional trauma. Henry Akinwande on the far side, a much more different character, stoical. And there's the tail of the tape. They're both 36 years of age. Akinwande, one of the tallest heavyweights in history, 6'7", only a pound in it on the weights, and that massive reach for Akinwande of 86 inches. Those are the unified rules here. No 3 knockdown rule. Fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round, and the rest of it is fairly standard. Those rules will apply across the board tonight, including for Lewis, this fight later on.
Features the battle of the former heavyweight champions of the world, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Lion Promotions, Main Events, the Mandalay Bay, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. Judging at ringside for this bout, we have Robert Bird, Glenn Trowbridge, and Paul Smith. The third man to the ring, referee Kenny Bayless. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of action scheduled. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks, hailing originally from Chicago, Illinois, now training in Martinsville, West Virginia. His weight, 238 pounds. His record stands at 38 wins, 7 losses, with 28 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Oliver, the Man McCall. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with gray trim, fighting out of Orlando, Florida, by way of London, England. His weight already 237 pounds. His fine record includes 40 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Henry Akinwande. Kenny Bayless, our referee in charge, now to give instructions. 10 rounds of action scheduled.
Former WBO champion against the former WBC champion here.
Okay,
and McCall slow to come out for the referee's instructions.
Okay,
here
fellas,
he comes.
Trunks here are high. Any punches in this area are considered a good blow. Punches or trunks here are okay. Fellas, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep the fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck. Touch glove.
All right, baby. Important fight, this one, to be so far down the bill, but it's a good one here tonight in Vegas. Akinwande, who's had hepatitis, that put off a big fight he had planned with Evander Holyfield. He's coming off a first-round win over Maurice Harris in Cincinnati in June. But his career took a nosedive after he was disqualified with Lennox Lewis, and McCall dives at him straight away. McCall, who's got a lot of quick wins on his record, he can be an explosive puncher. Akinwande will look to keep him behind that jab all night long. I noticed that McCall has dropped his nickname of the Atomic Bull. He was introduced here as the Man, which I guess is some sign that he's matured and got past all the problems in his life. Let's hope so. Akinwande, if you're not aware of these two, is the one with the stripe down his trunks. Good right hand getting it, although McCall just got the glove up and blocked the full force of it, maybe. He's built like a telegraph pole, isn't he, Akinwande?
He is. He's very tall, very thin legs, but a big upper body. Akinwande should be looking to try and master the center of the ring, use that jab, and just keep spearing it at McCall.
That defeat against Lennox Lewis, the disqualification in Lake Tahoe, is the only defeat on Akinwande's record in 42 fights. McCall's 47th trip to the ring tonight. He's got 38 wins. How much is left? How fresh is he? It's been a long road for him. Would be amazing if he got back into the big picture, wouldn't it?
It really would. He's had some huge personal struggles along the way and a few mountains to climb, but you know, he's got to try and get inside Akinwande, throw some looping punches.
Akinwande is part of Don King's stable. He's been based in the States, in Florida, in fact, for the last 6 years now. He's not the sort of guy, really, that any of the leading heavyweights would actually enjoy fighting. You can imagine the problems Holyfield would have had with him.
Well, he has such enormous physical advantage, does have quick hands and can punch a bit as well.
Just that little problem maybe over his heart and temperament, bearing in mind how he froze against Lewis. Hitting the gloves at the moment quite a bit of McCall, but that jab getting through. And then a right hand quite cleverly landed on the counter from Akinwande. McCall's got a huge problem just getting near enough to land. He might have dropped the nickname. He's still charging like a bull.
Yes, he is. He's trying to get in. He needs to think about something to come in behind. Use that double jab, go to the body maybe. But he's got to try and get past that long jab.
Quite nifty on his feet too, going backwards, Akinwande, and that was his opening round, I believe. Now, you used to spar, didn't you, with Oliver McCall? You used to call him the atomic bully.
Yeah, I did.
To his face?
Nah, not really.
What was that then? What was that about?
Well, it was just the way he was in the gym. I used to spar him when I was there with Tyson. He was in the camp as well on days off. My days off when I wasn't sparring with Tyson would be sparring with Oliver McCall. Tough times they were then.
Yes.
But he would be pretty rough on sparring partners.
You know what I mean?
You earned your money, didn't you?
Didn't get paid very much.
You're a fool then, aren't you?
There's that long right hand. Just missing, not connecting right. It's a good shot, but he needs to just step in further with that. There it is. Just missed the... He was trying for it, but just missed the target.
Akinwande, who's been doing some work in the Trunk gym in Detroit. He seems to be quite a traveler around the gyms of the States. Massively experienced now. He goes all the way back to the time of the Seoul Olympics. He was boxing there, 1988.
But because of his styling, you know, there's not many miles on the clock. He's never really in tough fights because he does use his height and his reach.
And he's off balance there, caught by the left hand. The ropes seemed to catch him up there and only kept him up, so that might have been scored a knockdown with stricter interpretation by the referee. This is good stuff from Akinwande.
Yes, this is aggressive, using his height and range, but good sharp punches going in from Akinwande.
This is the highest profile fight Akinwande has had in quite a while. He can't afford to mess up tonight. And he's been pretty assertive early on here against McCall, who can go into his shell if things go against him. Mind you, he's blocking a fair bit, McCall.
Yes, he is. He's pretty knowing himself. He's done a lot of sparring and been around for many years, McCall. But he needs to do something himself. He's blocking a few, but there's still some getting through. He needs to do more work, McCall.
Looking for the right uppercut that time, Akinwande.
There we go.
McCall all the time is looking to hunt him down and get the fight at closer range, where he can maybe unload with a few hooks. So far, he's finding it very hard to penetrate the enemy lines. is running short for both of these two if they are going to become a major factor again in the division. Remember, Akinwande had the WBO championship and McCall the WBC for a while after his sensational win over Lennox Lewis. He also beat Larry Holmes. A lot of people forget that. Quite an old Larry Holmes, it has to be said, but he beat him nonetheless.
Well, he's just walking forward, McCall, trying to cut the ring off, but you know, he needs to start letting some shots go. That's the only way he's going to get in range.
Just can't pull the trigger at the moment, can he? Good body shot, that right hand from Akinwande, thrown fast with the right hand, then he was away again. Still pretty nimble on his feet. You're right about him, he's still quite fresh for 36.
Yes, he is. Still the reflexes there, nice and sharp, Akinwande.
Good right hand, too. That's his round again. He's putting them in the bank here. 2 rounds gone, and both of them to the former British-based fighter, Henry Akinwande.
Okay? But you have to use that right hand a little bit more. Okay? But keep doing that. Keep focus. Okay?
Working.
He's got wins over Jeremy Williams, Alex Zolkin, and Britain Scott Welsh in WBO title fights. Beat Orlin Norris as well, Tony Tucker, Axel Schultz, Jimmy Thunders. Good record, isn't it?
It is a good record. He's picked up some very good experience along the way, but just needs to get more of an exciting image.
Too late for that, I think.
Yeah, probably. But he is trying here to be more dominant behind the jab.
Don't get excited, okay? Come on.
Could have been so different for him had he not messed up against Lewis in the way that he did in non-performance in Lake Tahoe, which really just made him, well, it put him in disgrace in the sport. Akinwande with the stripe, remember, and Oliver McCall, so far, unable to get any of those big left hooks of his into the game. All the problems that McCall has had out of the ring must have taken a lot out of him.
Yes, they must. I think, you know, all the things he's gone through, you can't come out without some mental scars.
I love the publicity handout for this fight. He described McCall as a very composed and personable individual. He's the good agent who writes that, isn't it?
Yeah, not quite got that right.
It's like calling Mike Tyson laid back, isn't it?
Well, he's just got to start doing something in this contest. He's just not getting the punches off. He's walking in, hands up, trying to catch punches, but he needs to throw them.
Akinwande's having it all his own way so far. Just the fight he would have planned for. And this is the problem that every single opponent that Henry Akinwande has faced has. How do you get close to him? Good hook towards the body, but the referee thought that was a bit on the low side. He might be American-based these days, Akinwande, but I know he spends a lot of time on the computer, on the internet, reading all the stories from the British newspapers, keeping up to date with the British scene. There's that left hook from McCall. Akinwande's got a pretty decent repertoire. He is one of the most underrated men out there, I think.
Yes, he is. He's a sharp puncher, and these right hands are good. They're connecting.
Tell you what, he's defended well tonight, Oliver McCall, parrying blows, blocking them, but enough of getting through to make Henry Akinwande very much the boss in this.
But McCall needs to throw more shots. He's just looking for single shots when he does throw something. He needs to try and build up combinations. That's the only way really you're going to get to Akinwande.
Somebody needs to give him the combination to the safe here. Frustration here for McCall. Because he doesn't have the speed he might have had a few years back either, which doesn't help. Akinwande again. Well, if it carries on like this, the danger is that it's just a shutout for Akinwande. Round after round after round, he might start looking to really bust him up and look for the stoppage soon, Glenn.
Yes, McCall needs to go through the gears a bit more if he's going to have any chance in this fight. He's allowing Akinwande to put rounds in the bag, and this sort of boxing just suits Akinwande. He can just keep doing this for round after round.
There was the left hook that did land. It had a hint of the inside of the glove about it from Oliver McCall. He's not the only heavyweight in history who cried in the ring. Jack Sharkey, the old heavyweight champion of the 1930s, used to do that. Some people, I believe, called him the Weeping Warrior, though that wasn't his official nickname.
Well, McCall, I'm plenty to say in the corner.
Well, McCall boasts that nobody has ever really properly knocked him out in his career. Richie Giacchetti in McCall's corner. We just overheard him saying, if you don't do something soon, I'm going to stop this. Don't embarrass me. He's not the kind of man, Giacchetti, to pull any punches verbally, is he?
No, he's a tough-talking character. And he'll do that. He's the sort of guy to do that. If McCall carries on doing this, McCall's got to start making a fight of it.
Watch the head now, okay? All right, here we go.
Watch the use of the head. Little warning from McCall from Kenny Bayliss, the referee here. He's got to try something different, Oliver McCall. Easy for us to say. What can he do, Glenn? Got any ideas?
Well, it is very difficult to get past that jab, but he's got to try and, cut the ring off a bit, give him a few angles. He's coming straight at Akinwande. He's got to try just stepping about, throwing a few shots, feint something. Got to get in. When he does get in, he's got to be busy inside.
And Akinwande's got a bit more than the jab too, hasn't he? There's a reasonable repertoire.
Yes, he's a pretty sharp counter puncher. Got that good long right hand.
And 26 knockouts on his record too. Akinwande was caught there by the left hand. That's more of what McCall wants. He's bundling in. And I think he's been quite free with the use of the head. I think he's going to try and do anything here to unsettle Akinwande's rhythm.
Well, the thing that would upset the rhythm is if he starts throwing punches. But that's what he's not doing.
See, every time McCall does get close, he gets caught up in those huge tentacle-like arms of Akinwande, who holds on and shoves him off again. And then you're back to the original game, which is this.
Well, he must be pretty strong, Akinwande, because he did manage to grab onto Lennox Lewis for dear life.
Well, after all the problems, the gag doing the round in the press room this week was that if McCall starts crying, at least Akinwande can hug him.
That was going on quite a bit, wasn't it?
Cruel, but funny. That's a right hand. Good shot, and he wants to hold on. Akinwande. Maybe that was McCall's best punch so far.
Time. All right, come here.
Referee wants a timeout here.
Let's keep it clean. You hear? All right, guys, time in.
Keep it clean. Great danger of the heads banging together, but at least McCall is starting to have the odd success. Yes, well, he's free with the head here, McCall.
He is. It was noticeable. He did seem to sting Akinwande with that punch.
Maybe a subtle little shift in the plot here, and Akinwande starting to complain to the referee as the head bangs home again. Well, he did do something different there. He tried a bit of the dirty stuff, McCall, but he might have just ruffled Akinwande.
Well, I think he did ruffle him. He certainly stung him a bit with that shot, but he didn't do enough to win the round, McCall. He needed to throw more punches than that.
But if there is a chink in Akinwande's armour, it might be mental, as we saw with Lewis.
Yes, I think there is a weakness there. And if McCall starts getting him, you may find Akinwande then starts just trying to wrestle and tie him up.
Now, that shot didn't land quite as cleanly as we might have thought, but he wanted to hold on when it landed, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And the referee, broke in one and just didn't give Akinwande the chance he deserved, or McCall the chance he deserved there.
Here's round 5. Due to go 10 this, by the way. No championship on the line, but an interesting fight nonetheless in the wider heavyweight picture. Remember, Akinwande is the one with the stripe down his trunks. And again, there could be a most almighty clash of heads. But there wasn't.
Well, it's much more dangerous for Akinwande with the heads coming in from McCall. Akinwande being taller will probably meet the head of McCall in the face, so he needs to be careful.
Just held on then for a moment as it was caught by an uppercut. McCall looked a good shot. It's good defensive work though from McCall. Great blocking, showing all his experience, and he stopped that uppercut getting through as well. He's done a lot of useful work defensively. Akinwande's hit the arms a fair bit, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. That will be taking the energy out of Akinwande. McCall just walking forward, catching the punches in his arms and gloves.
Kenny Bayliss, the referee, is going to have to be good here because this could get out of control all the time. Akinwande, the taller man, is having to face this bull charging in at him, and not too fussy really where his head goes. Just not doing enough, not getting enough shots off McCall. This is better from him though. Gone in a bit closer here.
Well, this is more like what he needs to do. McCall needs to start letting the punches go inside. Just try and be rough, but throwing punches all the time.
He's making Akinwande work for it a little harder though now. The control is not so arrogant and easy for Akinwande as it was in the first 3 rounds.
Work out. Hold. No, hurry up.
Last few seconds of the 5th, getting on towards the halfway point in this. The empty seats, as I told you, because it's early in the night, but that's a good right hand getting through there from Oliver McCall.
Yes, this has been a better round for McCall. He's starting to get through some pretty solid punches.
Did he do enough to win the round for you, Glenn?
Yeah, I think he might have just done that. He landed the solid punches of the 2. And the one, he caught most of Akinwande's long-rangey shots.
Well, there is Oliver McCall. Beaten on points by Buster Douglas and Orlin Norris. Stopped Bruce Seldon. Lost to Tony Tucker over 12 rounds. Stopped Francesco Damiani, the Italian, who was WBO title holder when Tyson was around. And he has a 1-round win, McCall, over Oleg Maskaya, the fellow who knocked Hasim Rahman out of the ring and beat him.
Yes, there's some decent form in there for McCall, and just showing the defense, one jab getting through, but for the most part he was catching a lot of punches on the gloves, just managing to block that uppercut there.
Well, it may not quite be the formality it looked for Akinwande early on here. 6th round. I'm surprised they put this one quite so far down the bill, aren't you?
Yes, it's certainly an interesting fight with some meaning to it.
No classic, however. Maybe Don King knew something we didn't.
But nevertheless, it's an important fight.
McCall got home with a good right to the body there.
The score is 49 to Akinwande, 46 to McCall. McCall just coming into it a bit now, starting to land.
There's some good body shots in this round, and Akinwande beginning to have to answer some questions. Plus, there's a fair way to go. That's in McCall's favour as well, because he'll be a little behind. that the tide just might be on the turn in this.
Stop, stop.
Well, McCall really should be just throwing punches. He's got to try and hit the body, hit the arms, hit anything really. Just let the punches go, just be busy.
Again, the right hand to the body will have knocked a little out of Akinwande. Getting closer, isn't he, now?
He is getting close. Akinwande not looking to stand and try and push McCall on the back foot. Now he's in retreat more and more.
Finding it a tough job at the moment, boxing continually on the back foot. Backed up again here by McCall.
Hold it, guys.
Kenny Bayliss weighs about half of what either of those two 17-stone giants weigh. It's a tough job for him. Remember Little Mills Lane with Lewis and Akinwande? It was almost comical, that.
Yes, he's got his work cut out here. Kenny Bayliss trying to separate the two of them when they do come together.
Work out, work out. Come on, fellas, come on.
Oh, great uppercut on the inside there from McCall. And that hurt Akinwande. He's breathing more heavily now, Akinwande, and not moving with so much sharpness. Again, he's caught, and McCall here is beginning to take over.
Yes, he has distress signals coming in from Akinwande, looking to grab. His style just falling apart, looking more tired.
Work out, work out, work out. Come on, work out.
Maybe the age has just caught up with Akinwande a little too.
Okay, watch the hold.
He's gasping in there, you know, Akinwande. Some heavy shots starting to get through, and McCall can hit. He always could. That's a good comeback, this, from Oliver McCall. First 3 rounds to Akinwande beyond dispute. Fourth, arguable maybe. Last 2, McCall.
Yes, I give the first 4 to Akinwande, the last 2 to McCall. But certainly the tide is changing.
Wait a minute. Are you going to give up? Listen to me, man. Who's going to blow this back?
Well, they're saying, are you going to give up? Come on, Henry, in there. They've seen what we saw in the ring in that last round.
That was a good left uppercut from McCall, and I think he's shown his physical strength now, and that's getting worrying for Akinwande. He's just struggling to cope with that strength. Beautiful uppercut. Just give himself a little bit of room, just step back, and then got that shot on.
Funny thing from the trainer, Johnny Trowick, to say, wasn't it? Are you going to give up to the fighter?
It's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Not exactly the sort of #1 line in motivation, that, is it? Here's round 7, and McCall out on the attack again. I don't say he's going to come back into the script again, McCall.
Well, he's doing the right thing here. This is what he needs to do. He's now starting to throw more punches, use his strength.
Well, wouldn't it be amazing if McCall won this and went on to fight the winner of Holyfield Ruiz and picked up a version of the title? It really would. This is a good display from him, though. He looks hungry enough, doesn't he? Wants it bad.
Yes, he does. He's trying very hard in there. Yes, there's still a lot left in McCall. Akinwande somehow has got to start keeping his height, get behind that jab again and start pushing it out hard.
He's got tentative, though, Akinwande. Now he's pouring with the jab, whereas before he was snapping it. Doesn't land cleanly that time, but Akinwande has a distressed, troubled look, I think, on his face now. Looking for the counter, and well done too with the left hand. Complains to the referee about the clash of heads again, Akinwande. Do you think Bayliss has been strong enough on this?
Well, he's coming in all the time with the head down. So Akinwande does have a point, but McCall's doing what he can. If he's not getting a warning, he's going to carry away with it.
That's what I mean. He isn't being strong enough, in other words.
Stop, stop.
He's not even sort of taken him to one side and given him a warning, as if to say, look, I'm on your case about this, and if you carry on with it, leading with the head, I'm going to deduct a point. And just like you said, he's saying, thanks very much, referee, I'll carry on.
Yeah, well, just carry on doing what I'm doing. But it is quite negative from Akinwande now, falling short with punches missing.
And getting beaten on the inside. Hands down by his side, Akinwande, who's caught again by the right cross, and he's really looking to load up and tee off now, McCall. That's quite an interesting one, this, isn't it?
Yes, it's getting better as it goes along. McCall now getting into the fight.
McCall unrecognisable from the emotional wreck who featured in one of the strangest fights in history against Lennox Lewis. It's good to see he's over those problems. I'm not sure Henry Akinwande is agreeing with me at the moment. This is another McCall round, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He's the one that's forcing the fight. That was a wild one there. Telegraphed that one.
But it showed his confidence, I think. I think if he'd have landed with that one, they'd have had to get Akinwande back from in the casino somewhere, 200 yards away.
Yeah, he landed right in the middle of the slots. That was a real wild shot, really loading up all his power, McCall.
He's tired, isn't he?
He is. For the last few rounds, he's looked tired. You know, he's lost. I think mentally, that's where he tires. I think it just runs out of him. He loses that snap.
I've got the fight level now, 3 rounds apiece, 1 even.
Well, I've still got Akinwande 1 point ahead, 67-66. But McCall certainly coming back, winning the last 3 rounds on my card.
It's very quiet, that Akinwande corner, isn't it? I mean, they've been noisier morgues.
Yes, they're a bit worried now.
Here's the 8th round. Just 9 minutes left in this. And the tide running with Oliver McCall. This would be a big win for him. And at the moment, if you were gambling, you'd say McCall was the likely winner, unless Akinwande can find a second win from somewhere. He'd need a fair bit of character to do it. It's a wonder there hasn't been an almighty cut for one of the 2 fighters. A number of times the heads have clashed.
Work out.
It's Akinwande who's more likely to get cut. It's McCall who's got his head down.
Work out. Hold it. Keep him up here. Keep him up. Come on, here we go.
It's one of the problems Akinwande has is he has to punch down all the time. And he's had that problem his whole career.
He's getting the referee says a hard warning for holding.
Right. No hard warnings for use of the head by McCall, though. Okay.
Let him up.
I think Henry's thinking that's a bit rich.
Yes, I think the referee's looking in McCall's favour because he's the one that looks as if he's trying to make a fight of it.
Good counter shot from Akinwande, but he's doing an awful lot of holding and a lot less work. Completely different fight from the one we were watching for the first 3 rounds.
This is where you question the mental strength of Akinwande. Another good uppercut from McCall.
Again, the hands dangling down by the side. And I think Akinwande is very, very tired and not a little dispirited in there now.
Work out, fellas.
Yes, and I think there's a danger of Akinwande losing a point if he carries on like this, just falling in, not allowing McCall to work.
Look at him gasping for air, Akinwande. And if he loses this, you think it might be the end of his time anywhere around the bigger picture in the heavyweight division. He can't afford to lose to McCall after everything McCall's been through. It would be a minor upset. looks so much the stronger, McCall. And he's obviously got himself right for this. They only gave him a license to box here in Nevada. I think it was on Monday of this week because of the probation business. He's only allowed outside of his home base of Martinsville, West Virginia, for 4 days at a time. So he couldn't be at the pre-fight press conference even. Has to arrive on the eve of the fight, have the fight, travel back.
That's right, it's difficult for him. He says he feels like he's been on parole forever.
Been through the mill.
But he's getting himself back into shape, getting the fight back in his mind. And he, he's trying hard here.
He's got nothing left. You just wonder what that hepatitis attack has done to Akinwande. I know he's had 5 wins since, but this is the step up again, and he really is very tired as he just clambered out of the stool there. 9th round. I think there's a danger even that Akinwande could be stopped here. I'll tell you what McCall's done well as well tonight. As he's marched forward, he's blocked a lot of shots, hasn't he?
Yes, he's done that very well. Bearing in mind, Akinwande is quite a sharp puncher, quite accurate. But he's caught that many. I think that's one of the reasons Akinwande's tired so much, because he's wasted so many shots.
Looking for the counter shots on the back foot still, Akinwande. Nothing very clean from McCall so far in this session, the 9th. Is Oliver McCall in the process of reinventing himself again?
Well, he's the boss in there. He's the one that looks like he wants to win. The one that looks the stronger of the two.
Good shots on the inside from McCall. That's been one of the keys to this fight as well. How much ambition and desire do they have left at 36? Good right hand from Akinwande, who's trying to lift it again. He is. He's come through a really bad patch in the fight. Can he finish a little strongly? McCall walks onto the right hand.
Watch your head, guys. Watch it. Work out. Work out.
Still very, very negative, Akinwande. And it's going to go in McCall's favour, coming forward all the time, trying to make the fight.
He's not getting much off clean in this round, though, is he?
No, he's not. But neither is Akinwande.
Good right hand. That one explodes through the gap for McCall. Akinwande looks a bit unsteady on his feet as well now. He's just getting out-hustled, out-bustled in there. Holds on, and it just doesn't look good for the judges scoring at ringside. The way that Akinwande is just moving around the ring and gasping for air while McCall hunts him down. He might be missing with a lot, but the impression is of McCall looking the fresher and stronger. Just be interesting to hear what they have to say between the rounds after this. Well, it's crisis time, I think, in that corner.
Yes, it is. They don't seem to have any ideas.
Working for you. You did a very good 2.5 minutes.
You want to win this fight? You got to jab and hook, jab and hook, and uppercut, jab and hook and uppercut.
That's it.
The man don't have no business in the world.
Well, he just doesn't look really as if any of that's getting through to him much, does he?
No, he doesn't. I think he's just into himself. He's thinking how tired he is. He can't really register about the advice, and he's unable to do anything. And it's McCall who's still landing the strong shots, and a very tired-looking Henry Akinwande.
I've got it 5 rounds to 3 with 1 even for McCall. You, Glenn?
Yeah, I've just got 1 point in it. Finally in McCall's favour. Got him ahead now. by 1 point.
So if your scorecard's right, Akinwande still might be able to rescue things.
Well, he still might be able to get a draw out of it on my card, but he's got to do something pretty big in this last round.
Giacchetti in the other corner says to McCall, it's now or never, Oliver. There's no tomorrow. A bit more of the corner man orator is Giacchetti than the fellows in the other corner of Akinwande, I would suggest. Akinwande needs a big last round to even make this an argument, I think.
Work out. Break. Step back.
He looks like he's grown old a bit in there too, doesn't he, Akinwande, tonight?
Yes, he does. Just hasn't got the legs or the strength to keep McCall at bay.
Gets hard at 36, and we've got a 36-year-old Lennox Lewis against a 29-year-old Hasim Rahman to come.
Well, maybe that tells us something, doesn't it?
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Akinwande not doing so badly in this last round. McCall not landing anything too clean. Just charging in now, isn't he? McCall and not getting there with the shots.
Yes, he needs to lift himself as well. I think he's starting to feel the pace.
10 hard rounds. It's a tough call after everything they've been through. Good right hand. First from Akinwande, then McCall had an answer, and he's got him! He's got him in the corner there, that might be it! A very exhausted Akinwande is decked in that corner, and he will not get up. He will not make it, he is counted out! Henry Akinwande is knocked out in the last round. That is a wonderful win for Oliver McCall. The man who was in tears, led sobbing away from Lennox Lewis, is in tears of joy now. And how is Henry Akinwande knocked out for the first time in his professional life? And that, I suggest, was a career-ending punch as far as Akinwande is concerned.
Yes, that was a good shot. I think a lot of it was the tiredness of Akinwande. He was very, very tired. There's the good right hand, all his power, shoulder right behind that shot. And look at the way Akinwande goes down. He really, that took everything out of him.
Oh dear, bang! I hope Akinwande is okay. That just knocked everything out of him, look. He just collapsed there like an oak tree.
Well, that shows that the power that McCall still has in the 10th and last round, finds enough of it. What a beautiful shot, right on the jaw. Enough there to completely knock out Akinwande.
Now there's the first chapter of heavyweight drama here tonight. It makes you wonder what's coming up, doesn't it?
Well, I think there could be a lot of things happen on this evening, and that's a big start to the night.
Well, let's hope Henry's okay. He's a lovely man, Henry Akinwande. Charming, dignified character who should have maybe got a bit more projection in the business, but take nothing away from Oliver McCall. He told me yesterday, I'm going to do everything it takes,
Gentlemen, we have
and
the
he did it.
time of 2 minutes, 13 seconds in round number 10. Our referee in charge, Kenny Bayless, reaches the count of 10. The winner by way of knockout, Oliver the Man McCall.
Two desperate men.